Hi, you guys. This is Rachel Kirkland, the Modern Shaman. Thanks for being with me for another YouTube video of the week. And like always, if you're new to the channel, I am glad you're here. Please subscribe, stay connected with us, hit that notification bell so you find out every time I upload a new video, which is once a week. And if you haven't visited my website, I would encourage you to visit the website, which is themodernshaman.net. Tons of resources there for one-on-one sessions, as well as education. If you're into this and would really love to dive into your psychic gifts or your intuitive awareness, there is a lot of practice and activities and shamanic energy awareness. There's a lot available online at the website. All right, here is the question of the week. This one says, "Hi Rachel. I wanted to ask you about dancing. What is the role of dancing in shamanic healing? Why do I always feel like dancing when I am feeling spirit come in? Is this why people in church are always shown dancing? I always wondered what the connection is with shamanic healing and ceremonies and so forth. I'd appreciate any direction." Any direction. I love that. Okay. You want to know what's in my head right now? Honestly, I hear that. We should be dancing, yeah. We should be dancing, yeah. Who sings that? Is that the Bee Gees? I don't know, but I'm hearing that in my head. Like, I don't know what that's on, but man, I'm hearing it. Okay. Your question made me think of that. I love this. I'm a dancer too. But I don't dance in shamanic healings. Ceremonies, that's another thing. Okay. Let me see where your questions are. What is the role of dancing in shamanic healing? So I'm going to answer that question first. What is the role of healing, or what is the role of dancing, in shamanic healing? In my healings, I don't dance, but I will say that if you are feeling the intuitive nudge to dance during a healing as a practitioner, then I would do it. Because the way that I instruct and teach other practitioners is that, and this is true of all things, like sometimes people will hear tones in their head or they'll hear music while they are clearing, and it's a message from spirit that person needs that particular tone or key of harmony, and I will encourage them, sing it, or get your bowls out. Like, that's a message from spirit. Don't just ignore that. The same is true. A lot of times healers will kind of sway or move as they are directing energy out of the auric field or into certain areas that have vacancy or have been kind of clogged and blocked, almost like moving water, and they'll have a sense of movement to what they're doing. Now I do that, but I'm usually using my feather wand or broom, and broom sounds so witchy. It's just a feather, but I have them stacked up on a stick, and just help give more momentum to what I'm clearing or doing. But a lot of times when practitioners are feeling that nudge, so just because I don't dance in shamanic healing doesn't mean you shouldn't, all right? What that means is when I am instructing, I would encourage you to align exactly with the energy that's coming through. And if it is moving you to dance, and that is how your body is translating that vibration, then by all means do it. I think the role of it, or how in the shamanic community that we would see that in a healing, is that whatever is relevant, it is a divine sense of channeling when a practitioner is doing a shamanic healing. If they are in alignment with the purity of that source coming through, it can guide and direct in many ways. And so Like, I have had spirit tell me all sorts of crazy things to do for certain people when I was working. I mean, just all sorts of things. You know, and when that is channeling through, I just do that. All right, this is what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, this is what we're doing. It's relevant for that person. If the intention is set that they're healing and they're clearing in their highest vibrational state, come through and be used in that session, and you be used as a conduit for that transmission, then whatever comes through has relevance. So I would listen to that and note that your body is wanting to align with it. Sometimes there's harmonies there, and the body almost like plays that movement that needs to be had in that person's body. They need this sense of flow or whatnot. So I would listen to that. Obviously, all with the intention of their highest good, with their sense of permission and awareness. I wouldn't do anything that you haven't asked permission for from that individual. Okay, then why do I always feel like dancing when I feel spirit? Depends on the way that spirit's coming in, but when spirit comes in that high vibrational form, I mean, it literally is a movement of energy. It's a vibration. It's an oscillation, right? It's a movement. And so this can elicit a mimicked response in your own physiological function, right? Your own muscles, your own cellular reaction. And so in that way, you can be mimicking the level of vibration that you hear. Oftentimes, the beats of the drums when we are doing shamanic drumming will elicit a lot of people to dance and get up and stomp, and they'll feel so much energy coursing through the body, they'll want to ground it. It's a natural kind of intuitive response of the body to stomp down or to hit or to pat something. Even when people are listening to trance music, a lot of times you'll see them hit, right? And we'll be doing this movement of like up, as if we're wanting to hit and connect with the higher realms or ground with the earthly realms and bring ourselves into a sense of balance down. And people will stomp their feet. People will even just like bring their knee up and down to where their heel is connecting with the earth and earthing in that sense of electromagnetic disposition. It disperses the energy, just like when static electricity begins to be like highly charged in the body and you touch something and you shock yourself, right? The same is true when the energy of spirit, which is a higher vibrational interaction, comes in and you're letting those high forms of light interact with your body. It's going to have an energetic discharge to it, much like static electricity. This is why a lot of times, again, we stomp to ground that energy naturally in that native sense of just an organic release of the energy. Otherwise, we start to feel kind of like that, like it bottles up. And if you've ever been, I love how you said this is why people in church are shown dancing. If you've ever been in a church service where you start feeling the interaction with spirit and feeling, a lot of times it starts as an emotional charge. Somebody will be worshiping and singing a song of worship, or somebody will be telling a story or playing the drums or guitar or singing, and the vibration itself will elicit a sense of emotional response, which a lot of times comes from the heart chakra and starts to stimulate that our own electromagnetic current, which is that heart chakra, the heartbeat. But essentially the emotional impact of that brings the energetic component into the non-physical, and then our auric field begins to get going. And then that charge of energy, if you've ever not gotten up or not dispersed it or not let yourself, kind of tap your foot on the floor by getting a little bit of that stomping and earthing to discharge the energy, then you're sitting there and you're just like, oh, I just want to raise my hands. Oh, I just want to stand up. Oh, I just want to, yes. It's that highly charged electromagnetic field, and it's beautiful interaction with that energy of spirit eliciting an emotional, physiological, and spiritual response from you in that moment. And so dancing is, it can be used in so many different ways. You look at Rumi, and Rumi was a whirling dervish, right? Which is where they spin, and have those big hats, and they spin in different directions, essentially creating that energy. And then they would let the poetry come out of their mouth. They would speak and channel and have, and a lot is true also of seers. If you look at the ancient community of seers, there are practices of trance-inducing through dancing all night long. A lot of times that's also with fasting. So they've been fasting and they're dancing all night long, and then it elicits this space where they feel like they're able to transcend the body, and the body is physically worn down, but they've moved into these higher states of consciousness, and the repetition of movement, even the repetition of a drum or a beat or dance music, trance music, that repetitive binaural beats, that repetitive toning over and over can move you into syncopated rhythm to where you're able to essentially stay in your non-physical senses, your psychic senses, more than your physical form, right? Type of hypnosis or trance-inducing state. It's that different brainwave state where we move back into the layers of our consciousness, and this is where ancient practices of dance in that ceremonial way, where they would go into the hypnagogic state and be able to still speak from here, often like hypnosis can still speak, but stay in the realms of consciousness that are beyond the physical form and speak and communicate there. So it's dancing for a long time has been connected with high spiritual alignments or states of trance and experiential processes of the non-physical portals of moving out of the body and into the non-physical realms as your dominant experience instead of the physical body. Let me see what else. I guess that's it. I think I hit all of your question. I hope and encourage that if you are feeling that from spirit, that you let the spirit move through you. If you are highly clairsentient and a strong channeler of magnetic energy in particular, highly charged energy, a lot of times it will disperse through the form. It will require dispersion through the form, like static electricity. I have clients or people that I have trained where we will be clearing energy or doing practices like that, and their fingers will shake, their bodies will shake, the hair will stand up on their head, they're getting chill bumps. Again, as if these are antenna in the body, it will, like static electricity, show an intense charge of energy. And some people are more highly charged than others. This is why you hear those random people that have been struck by lightning multiple times. There are individuals that house more electromagnetic charge, and they channel more energy that way. Typically, they're healers. They're highly clairsentient. I was going to say clairsensitive and blend those words. Highly sensitive and clairsentient as their psychic dominant sense. And this is picking up on the non-physical energy through the sensations of the body. And they will be able to be a conduit for high levels of energy transmutation and clearing and processing. So you may be one of those individuals. And if that is you, then I would encourage the dancing and the stomping especially, and the movement of that energy channeling all the way through the form out. And naturally, depending on the way that the dancing is used, you can use it to heighten energy and you can use it to disperse energy, meaning you can amplify through. This is that kind of fast-paced dancing, like I'm thinking of flash dance right now, or that like, I'm a maniac. I'm too clairvoyant. I get like a vision with everything I say. even if it's so anyways, that little vision of like kind of running, like an amplification of energy. It's the same of breath techniques, like fire breath, of amplifying through the contraction of the solar plexus. So the same is true of dancing, of a contraction base where they're tighter and tighter and tighter in the form until you have full release or full expression of the breath or full release of the muscular tension. So it can be used in different ways for amplification or for dispensation and discharge of energy in electromagnetic fields. But essentially, in any way that you're feeling that dance and that desire to dance, I would channel it through listening to spirit in that moment. And that is a beautiful union and harmony with spirit coursing through and being a conduit of that energy. So that's wonderful. All right. Mwah! I'm going to sign off here. Blessings, you guys. I'll be back next week with another video.